Welcome. It's my dog with the TexasSpaceNavy bringing you another Star Citizen video. In today's video, we're going to talk about the newest updates to the Galactapedia. So I think it's every Tuesday or every other Tuesday, they do an update to the Galactapedia, or at least once a month. So this is March 2021's update. If you don't know, it is the 23rd. So these are the things that came out. In no particular order, but the very first thing with the full-length article was the Composi Magnus. Now, some of these things have already been out. They just have refined them or gone into a little bit more depth into each one. Now, the Composi Magnus is some sort of creature that lived on LS4 or Campos. And it died off roughly 500,000 years ago. So it's definitely an interesting little piece that everybody gets to kind of look at and enjoy, especially if you have the Puglisi, wow, that's really hard to say. If you have the Puglisi collection, you might actually have this. Now, if you don't know, the Puglisi collection was some subscriber flair that was available a few years back, and they're pretty cool stuff. I mean, you can get that, you can get this script that on the stone that hasn't been translated, you can get some Vandal scythe armor, and I believe there was maybe a Haydenite rock or something, maybe, I don't know. There's a few things there that you can get in that collection. Anyways, this creature died off in a cataclysmic underwater volcano that caused tsunamis and all sorts of stuff, tectonic shifts, all of that. And it was quite a big vehicle. It was quite a big creature. It was 12 meters in length and weighed about 40 tons. So you can imagine how big and nasty this thing was. It had two large mandibles, and yeah, it was pretty nasty. So that was one of the things that they put in this new Galactapedia entry. Then they have the entry for xenoarchaeology, and that's the study of alien culture and history. So like a human xenoarchaeologist could specialize in like Hadesian artifacts. Wow, we're really going off the deep end with some of the words here as far as me trying to say them. Then you also have Xenothreat as an entry. You all know what Xenothreat at this point is. It's an outlaw group based in the Pyro system that really can't stand corporate UEE. Xi'an criminal professionals. So a Xi'an criminal professional is a Xi'an who is granted a license by the government to practice certain forms of crime. This is very popular in the Xi'an society. They'll have whole houses that are disciplined and dedicated to criminal activity or putting down extreme criminals. So they will actually rule an area. They'll do whatever crime it is that they do, but they'll also keep out potentially dangerous criminals and keep them at bay, so to speak. So they're very important to Xi'an, and actually a lot of houses will advance money to Xi'an criminal houses to keep from losing too much when they go through their areas. So it's kind of like protection money. It's like a mafia almost, only it's legalized, which is weird, but that's the way it is. Then they have correctional facilities. These are prisons that Xi'an are sent to if they're guilty of some sort of serious offense, and they will work off their prison sentence, either mining or manufacturing, or even working with really volatile chemicals. This is mostly most of the larger prisons are along the Perry line, which the Perry line is where the Xi'an and the UEE share a border. So that's where you can expect to have it. I mean, you're going to put the worst criminals as far away from your main areas as possible, probably, and let the humans deal with it. Xi'an clothing. This is usually made of long-lasting materials, and it's passed down the family line to younger generations. Even most of their mass-produced clothing will last for centuries because Xi'ans have a long, long life. Now, the wealthier houses will make custom livery that's worn only by the family. And then now what you're seeing in Xi'an youth is a counterculture movement that's embracing more human-like ideas, and they are actually embracing disposable garments. So that's something new for the Xi'an. And of course, that Xi'an youth counterculture movement is actually starting along the Perry line, where they've had a lot more interaction with humans. You'll see a lot of the younger Xi'an, which, I mean, that could be 50 years old, or, you know, even older, but they mostly the ones that are still completing their service because they're serving along the Perry line. They have a lot more interactions with humans, and they really like the human culture. So they're definitely kind of converting over to that. Then we also have the Hades Extinction event. This is all about the system Hades and the people who lived there. Evidently, they actually got some sort of space flight way back in 300,000 BCE, or at least that's when the extinction happened. They were all over the system, so there's all sorts of theories on what happened, but nobody really knows, and there's no clue of what happened, you know, or where they went, or, you know, if they just plain died out. So I'm looking forward to actually, you know, figuring some of that out in the verse when I am playing. That's something I'm very interested in doing, and some of you may be too. Vandal clans, these are all the groups of Vandal that fly around, you know, supporting a kingship or in a kingship. The clans move from system to system. They loot, they kill, they pillage, etc. So that's one of the entries. Vandal raids are how they loot, pillage, all of that. They usually include the deployment of a bunch of harvesters, which will, you know, think of the name. I mean, that's what they do. Vandal territory is usually anything that they've taken from the UEE, like Caliban, Orion, Tiber, or Virgil. And if the UEE knows that there's a large presence of Vandal in a system, that system gets the name with a V. So like a V designation, like Vanguard, Voodoo, that sort of thing. So pretty interesting how they decided to do that. Vid is, well, video. It's media. Vid Pro is where you upload the video in the verse. Then they got the Vulture, which is from Drake Interplanetary, which we hope to see this year. This is a salvage ship, and it should be a really good one. It should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. It could be interesting to run. Warlord Korath Thal. Korath Thal is the warlord in the Tevarin War, the second Tevarin War, that united the Tevarin behind him to create an insurrection and go against the UEE. He wanted to reclaim the homeworld and all of that, and of course he was forced to, he was forced to commit suicide, more or less, as he plummeted into the surface of his homeworld. So, you know, he and all his ships went flying face first into the ground. Not the smartest way to end a war, but it happened. Wilsop. Wilsop is a human limited liability corporation that produces targeting system, hardware, and software in spacecraft. We will probably learn more about that, but they are really used with Anvil Aerospace mostly. Worldmaker was a terraforming company that was humans created. By the 25th century, they had acquired much of the competition and became the third largest terraforming conglomerate until Shubin Interstellar acquired a controlling interest and eventually merged them into themselves. Nice of Shubin to do. I'm not a big Shubin fan personally. Xenia. This is a Kovalex station in the Baker system. This is where it's like a hub. So, you know, like airport hubs and stuff. Well, this is like a cargo hub for Kovalex. You know, it's really good to build trade between the UEE and the Xi'an Empire from this hub. And it's got a really cool picture, which I didn't put on here. You're just watching some video. Xenoanthropology, like xenoarchaeology, it's to study cultures and societies of aliens, but it's more of the living ones than the dead ones. So that's a very popular field. Xi'an terraforming, I couldn't pull this one up, but you know, they have an interesting way of terraforming that we just don't that I don't have the information on for you, so I wish I could go over that with you, but I can't, unfortunately. And then we also have the Xi'an government, which is too much to go into right now, but it gives you a little overview of how Xi'an government is set up, which is, you know, they have a ruling family, and the ruler has been in charge for like 400 or 500 years or something. The dude's been around a long time. He's seen the human empire when it first came along to where it is now, when the first two humans and Xi'an met. So that's what we have today for you in the Galactapedia. I hope you guys liked it. Let me know if you want me to try to do some more research on some of these topics, or if there's something in particular you want to hear about, and I'll see what I can do. Thank you for tuning in once again. Make sure you hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. If you want to become a YouTube member or a Patreon member, definitely check out the description of the video. And if you want to, get into the game you never have before, make sure you check out my referral code down below as well. I'm Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy, and I'll see you out in the verse.